The Steam Deck is ugly. There, I said it. I'm just not a big fan of glossy black plastic. In the initial reveal video for the Steam Deck, they showed off a white Steam Deck that I was super excited for because it looked very cool. But as we all know, we only got black. And sure, you can put on some decals, some back plates, even some stickers, but look, sometimes you gotta take matters into your own hands. And by that I mean I'm gonna paint it. I am by no means an expert painter, and if I'm being honest with myself, I'm probably not even an amateur. Outside of spray painting a few AMD coolers and that Dell Optiplex that one time, I've never really painted anything. So please come on this journey with me to see how we can turn this Steam Deck into looking absolutely amazing. But first, a quick word from this video sponsor. Thanks to TomTalk for sponsoring this video. Allow me to introduce you to the TomTalk Arcos Steam Deck Travel Bag, the perfect companion for both Steam Deck and ROG Ally players. Don't let its sleek exterior fool you. This bag boasts an incredibly large organized capacity with designated storage for your Steam Deck. You've got extra pockets for a dock, charger, HDMI cables, power bank, and more, keeping all your accessories in perfect order. TomTalk has designed a unique W-shaped structure, complete with a thick bumper to protect your device from scratches and pressure on the joysticks. But if you want something a little more form-fitting, they also have this hard-shell form-fitting case that protects your Steam Deck well, but is still slim enough to simply toss it into your backpack and forget about it, knowing your gaming device will be safe from bumps and scratches the entire time. On top of that, you can also grab their Steam Deck armor case, which slips onto the back of your Steam Deck very easily and can be left on indefinitely. It protects your device from drops and dings, as well as having a strong adjustable kickstand on the back so you can prop your device up at any angle wherever you are. It's lightweight and doesn't cover any of the cooling vents, giving you full performance without any major compromises. If you'd like to get your hands on the TomTalk Arcos travel bag or any of the other awesome accessories and bags available from TomTalk, click the links in the description to go to the TomTalk's Amazon store and unlock a world of organized, protected, and stylish gaming on the go. Thanks again to TomTalk for sponsoring this video. All right, let's go over how we're going to do this. So obviously, painting the back plate should be easy. I just take it off and just maybe sand it, do a little few paints. That should be good. This comes off very easily. And I'm actually going to be using this back plate instead of the generic one. This is the JSOX version 2 back plate, which is pretty straightforward, but it's got this little hole cut out here and it's got a metal plate on the inside. We're not painting the inside, so none of that really matters. So I should be able to just remove the back plate and then remove these 4 buttons and then just be good to go. But what about the front? So that's going to be a little bit harder. So obviously I can remove the whole thing. I've done it before. I have disassembled the entire Steam Deck, a screen and all, and that would be very simple in the painting aspect. But the problem is that removing the screen and reapplying it is kind of a nightmare. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to disassemble the whole thing except for the screen, and then I'm just going to frog tape, which is painter's tape, if you're not from USA. I'm just going to painter's tape around the edge here and try my darndest not to hit the screen. We're gonna see what happens. I don't know. I'm not an expert. Don't do anything in this video. I just really don't want to remove the screen. So I'm gonna do my best to protect it and make sure I can get around it. Now I also don't want to paint any of the buttons, the joystick, the trackpad, or anything like that. I just want this outer shell, and I think that's gonna look really nice. So these will all stay black, and then this outside and then the back will all be a certain color. I haven't decided yet. And that's pretty much the entire plan. I just need to disassemble this, but first I need to make a quick trip to Home Depot. Alright, we are back, and I decided on a few different things from Home Depot. Now to start, I know I needed some sandpaper. People recommended this grit, which is a very fine grit. It's not too harsh on the outside of like plastics and electronics. So I'm going to use this to just do a little gentle rub on the outside of it, just to give some hooks for the paint to like latch on, right? I think honestly I could avoid this whole step, but hey, it's a small price to pay. I don't mind. And then once we sand it and we clean it and everything after disassembly, the color I decided on is this kind of teal bluish color from Rust-Oleum. Now, I don't know if you can tell, I like this kind of color. It even kind of matches my hat. this kind of teal and even this kind of blue. And they actually did have this blue, but I wanted something a little different. I like this kind of blue. And I think this, since remember, we're not gonna do the whole thing. This with the black track pads and joysticks and buttons is gonna look really nice. The whole back's gonna be blue. Man, that's gonna look great. And one can should be enough to cover all of it. It's gonna be more than enough. I can probably do something else with this. And then at the very end, just 1 or 2 sprays of this. This is the matte clear finish. You kind of paint this over it just to make sure everything kind of seals in. I got the matte instead of the glossy because like I said earlier, I don't really like glossy. And I think a matte finish is gonna look better on camera because I film my Steam Deck a lot for content. And so I think a matte finish will help a lot with reflections and that kind of thing. And guys, I apologize if I am sweating throughout this whole video. It's actually 40 degrees in Texas today. It's actually been 40 degrees for about the last 3 months, and our AC is out, so I'm hanging in there. I'm doing my best. Sorry. But yeah, we have all of our tools. We got our ingredients. All we have to do is disassemble this. So let's switch over to the disassembly cam. Now, I'm not going to do a whole guide on disassembly. It's basically just unscrewing everything and removing every ribbon cable one by one. I'll drop a guide in the description that I followed the first time I did this. The hardest part about it is keeping all of your screws organized since they are all different sizes and need to go in the exact place you pulled them from. And also removing the screen. I know I said earlier I was going to leave the screen on and just paint around it, but it turns out I can't remove the motherboard without removing the screen, so I decided to just remove the screen after all. It actually wasn't that bad this time. I just cranked the heat gun to 11 and went after it. Afterwards, I cleaned the shells and started sanding. Don't go crazy and try to shave off an entire layer of the plastic, just small circles to embed some scratches so the paint can adhere to it easier. Okay, let's go outside. It's really dark out here, but I wanted to get the first coat done before we get dark. And so, sorry if it's a little dark, but the paint we picked has paint and primer all in one. So I'm just gonna do some light coats over the front and back. I already sanded everything, cleaned it down, and everything is looking pretty good. Okay. Oh, that looks crazy. Do some really light coats. Nothing crazy. Dang, that's looking good already. Very good. It's a little thick on some parts, but I want to get at least most coverage on the tops and the sides. I think that's a good first coat. And if you see, we still have some parts that aren't covered in blue. That's okay. But here, it's what we have so far today, and this is looking pretty good. I think this is a good starter, a good primer. I'm gonna let this dry for about an hour, but right now this is actually looking pretty good. And I actually just realized that I actually got the glossy blue paint and then the matte clear paint. I don't know if that's gonna contradict anything, but hopefully it works out because I'm not buying a new one. So I'm gonna do a few more coats over the next day or two, let it dry up, reassemble it, and then here is the finished product. So the final result looks pretty amazing, and that is for someone who doesn't really know what they're doing. So I can only imagine what a seasoned painter would be able to do. I ended up doing only 4 layers of paint and primer, and then just a single coat of my matte finish clear coat. Then let it dry overnight, and reassembled it just about 15 hours later. It wasn't too difficult since it was my 3rd time taking apart and putting back together a Steam Deck, but I'm super happy I did this, and I'm thrilled with the results. So surely I must recommend you custom paint your Steam Deck, right? Nah, don't do this. If you want to paint your backplate, I say go for it, as it can be removed pretty instantly without risk of breaking anything. But removing the screen and disassembly is really difficult, and a single slip-up can break a ribbon cable and practically break your device, which is a really high risk just to have a different colored shell, since I think most people would be satisfied with just the decal. But not me. I'm happy with this. Please like the video that brought value to you and consider becoming a member of the channel so I can shout out your name at the end of every video. You have no idea how much your support helps independent creators like me and my family. My name is Jason. Thanks for watching.